Helmet on, buckle up and join us for the ride. It's time for the 2021 Indian Grand Prix. Two drivers have a very difficult challenge today. They have to make 3 stops in only 15 laps. Can they beat the rest of the grid in their slower, limited cars? We're here in India for a race around the Budd International Circuit. This is round 17 of the 2012/2021 Formula 1 Championship. 5.1 kilometres lay between a driver and the start-finish line, with 15 corners making up the lap, 2 DRS zones and 3 sectors, a long back straight and a heavy braking zone at the end of it. Expect to see a lot of overtaking there. The other drivers have very limited cars, with the 2 in standard cars having to make 3 pit stops. The limited cars are limited in braking performance, top speed and cornering. Real monsters to handle around this Budd circuit. So the starting grid for today looks like Dylan lines up on pole position, and the driver who wears a white helmet in his whole life, it's Ed in P2 with Lotus Formula 1 team. Fernando Alonso has taken P3 for Scuderia Ferrari, and Jenson Button lines up on the second row beside him. On the 5th row of the grid, we have Mark Webber, the second Red Bull Racing car, and Sergio Perez for Sauber F1 team. Then we have Maldonado on the 6th row of the grid, followed by Rosberg for Mercedes Energy Petronas F1 team. In P17, we have Jean-Eric Vergne, followed by Lewis Hamilton. A shocking qualifying from him compared to his teammate. On the in 19th, we had Vitaly Petrov for Caterham F1 team, who's joined by his teammate Heikki Kovalainen. Joining me today to cover all the Formula 1 action you'll be seeing is Dylan. How are you today, Dylan? I'm today. Okay, nice to meet you today. I'm Ed. So there you can see the cars are starting to take off their tyre blankets. It's nearly time for the race, so let's get down to the grid and cover all the action. So here we are on the grid, the engines are revving and we are raring to go. Dylan in P1, Ed in P2, and we are nearly ready to go. The lights are coming on, and it is 1 red light, 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. The lights are out and away we go. Dylan's got a good start and he's covering instantly from Ed, but Ed's got a better start and he's leading down into turn 1. Dylan's lagging behind, he's nearly getting caught by P3, but round the outside he goes into turn 1 and Dylan's leading from Jordan, from Alonso. Okay, and we are coming up into the hairpin and we're riding on board with Ed, and he's better size up a move on Dylan. And Dylan's gone wide, he goes down the inside and Ed is leading down the straight. And Ed uses some of that curves, but Dylan's coming back, he's clearly got more curves and more straight line speed. Dylan's coming down, and will he be able to make a move into this long first hairpin? Dylan, what do you make of that?
It was a pretty good move from Dylan. He did make a mistake though, coming into the first hairpin of the track.
Gonna have to interrupt you there, Dylan. Ed's just made a move on Dylan. Dylan has locked up, and we're now going into that double left-hander. And will Ed try to go for the switchback?
Ed goes down the inside,
yes.
Dylan comes round,
yes,
and they made
Ed
contact.
Has gone down the switchback. Oh, and there's contact. They've made massive contact. They're both in the wall. It doesn't look like there's much damage on either car, but Ed's got a penalty for causing a collision, and
how long is he
going to
get?
so, in my
10-second penalty.
10-second time
Right
penalty. That's horrific from him. Dylan's down in P10 and Ed's up in P8. Oh, that was an eventful first lap, wasn't it, Dylan?
A very exciting first lap. Much more exciting than previous races in the season, as he takes out Massa. Ed has
taken out Massa again.
That's another
and I
10-second
think that's going to give him
penalty.
another penalty.
And
Another penalty. Is that 20
view,
seconds there,
Massa
Dylan?
was flying. Yeah, 20-second penalty for Ed.
And quite rightly so, as I previously said. So Dylan's up in P9, but he's all over the back of Perez, and Ed's only up in P7. And oh no, that's Di Resta. And Ed's gone wide at the last hairpin.
Looks like he's got another penalty as well.
And it looks like he might have another penalty for corner cutting. And this could be up to 30 seconds. And Dylan is leading and he has no penalty. So this is a net easy lead for Dylan here as we come across the line to start lap 2. Oh, that was pretty exciting, wasn't
Ed goes down the straight to try and get into the slipstream of Sergio Perez. Is he going to try and make moves into the first corner? Yes, he does. Beautiful move,
he does.
clean
He's
move.
made it through cleanly.
And now he's going to try and trace down. I believe that's Dylan. Yes, it is.
That's Dylan.
Is he going to make a mistake again? No, he goes down the inside of Maldonado. going a bit wide
Oh,
there.
Dylan down the inside of Maldonado, not wide. Maldonado tries to cover. Dylan up into Rick Mix, uses a little bit of that curve on the straight, and he's got that move past Maldonado. And going down this massive long straight, is he going to try and make a move on Webber? In my opinion, he's a bit too far back.
He's trying to defend Maldonado.
Maldonado.
Go down the inside of Mark Webber.
Yes, he is. He's gone defensive, but he's also got He's also got him, got Vettel and Webber. Dylan is up into the podium positions already. Flying, and he said a purple first sector. Oh, flying into the double left-hander, no contact this time, and Dylan's all over the back of Raikkonen. And Dylan's fallen back from Raikkonen, sadly. Dylan, what do you make of this driving from the ungrip?
I think it was pretty good, as I said already. Pretty good first start. Shame that Ed took him out though. It was a bit of a dodgy move, and then he just done very well to come from 10th already back into 3rd, making up 7 positions in just less than 2 laps. Actually, he's nearly lost it there.
Oh, and Dylan's lost it. Dylan's got it all wrong going out of that, and Vettel's gone past, and Webber's having a look down the inside of that hairpin. And Webber's pushed him round. Oh, that was so close to the barrier. In his Ed's point of view, Dylan's just gone round. But there's no front wing damage. I don't know how he survived that. But there's no penalty. He's scored no damage. Ed's gone down the inside of Maldonado, and
try and get Webber down the straight.
Now chasing Webber along the main straight. Is he going to get him? He's sliding up a move. Purple lap for Ed there, and he goes straight past. Easy overtake. It's done by the first corner, and now it's on to Vettel. To Ed's in P4 up into Vettel, but really this is still a net lead for Dylan. He's got no damage and no penalties. And we're coming up into this hairpin before that massive straight, and Ed's done it. Ed's got past Vettel. We're now onto the straight. Can he keep this, or will Vettel try and size a move?
Dylan makes a lovely move.
We're going into this again. It's a feeling of deja vu. You can see Ed and Vettel up there. Dylan's got a little bit deep, but he's got into Rick's mix. He's going to cover off from Webber.
He's going to try.
Dylan, do you think anyone's going to go for a move?
I don't know. Dylan might be able to go down the inside of Vettel, but he is quite far. Maybe Webber will try and make a move to try and get the position back. Dylan goes down the inside from a far
ahead, and Dylan's gone down. What a dive there!
I know he's been taken out by Vettel.
A little bit of damage, but Dylan's been pushed. He's gone round.
And he's got a penalty for no reason.
Is that a what's this penalty? I think that's a bit of bias there, Dylan. This is
10-second penalty.
Causing a collision. Okay, I don't think that's unfair. That's the 2012 algorithms there for you. Coming into this double left-hander, and Dylan's sending it again. Dylan's sending it. We're now on the end of the lap. This is a highlight reel, of course. So now at the end of the lap, we've teleported. Dylan is in P10, and he still has that net lead. He still has a penalty, but fewer penalties and no damage, and Ed's got no damage.
He takes out Rosberg.
Dylan's going for a move, and he's taken out Rosberg as well. He's taken out Rosberg. How has he got no damage? He's got 2 penalties, and is that even between Dylan and Ed? It may well be, and I think Ed's leading at the moment. Here he is. Yes, Ed is leading. He is in the podium positions, and he's siding up a move on P2 of Raikkonen, of his teammate, going into that hairpin onto that long straight. Can he out-drag him along this straight? Or Raikkonen is behind him. That was a bet, wasn't it, Dylan?
A very great move from Ed. Dylan may have a bit misjudged the brakes a bit too much and hitting back off Rosberg as Ed's teammate tries to go around the inside.
Ed takes a nice line, and now later on lap 4, Ed comes in for his first of 3 pit stops. Remember, we have to use all 4 tyres. What tyres is he going to go on? He even has to use wet one. Pirelli have deemed it safe.
He's gone on 2 wets.
And he's going on to the full wet tyres. This is going to be absolute hell for him to drive. I can't imagine he's going to stay on these full wet tyres for long. Ed's dropped right down the order into P11. It looks like Dylan has not made one of his 3 pit stops yet. Pirelli have deemed it safe to use these tyres, of course. They have been slightly mollified. Here we are with Dylan riding on board, lap 4.
Going down the inside of Vettel, no, not quite.
Oh, and he's trying to look for a move on Vettel, but he just couldn't do it, could he, Dylan?
No, wasn't quite good enough to get him, but he might be able to get him down to the first corner as he's in the slipstream, not using any curves though, down to standard mix, down the inside, smashing Vettel, and he takes the position.
What a move.
He's going to try and get Schumacher maybe into the hairpin.
Is he going to try and get Schumacher into the hairpin?
7-time world champion, yes he does, and he does Perez.
Oh, and it's a 2,
and it's him,
and can he get 3, and he's made contact again with Maldonado.
That's a 10-second penalty.
He's got another penalty. He's got a 30-second penalty, and has Dylan got more penalties than Ed now? He may well do.
And he goes onto the grass.
He still has to make all pit stops. He goes onto the grass. He's getting really flustered here. He tried to defend from Maldonado. Is he going to take that defensive line? No, not really, but Maldonado really is probably still recovering from that. And here's Ed. He is really struggling on lap 5 just as he come out the pit lane.
And he makes contact with Button, and he loses the front wing.
tagged by Button, and he's lost his front wing, and that is going to be an awful drive back to the pit lane. I can't imagine he's going to stay on these wet tyres and he's going to box for that new front wing.
Paredes seemed to
that's
miscalculate.
really effective, Red. That's really affected him, and he's down in P18. Do you think that was unlucky with Button there, Dylan?
Yes, I think he could have left Button a bit more room though, as he's aquaplaning right now. Yeah, you
I
definitely
wouldn't call that aquaplaning.
just
I'd call that
sliding.
aquaplaning. And
Just
yes,
drifting.
write that down, put it on a t-shirt. I think that's a new F1 terminology. Ed really struggling here. Dylan looks like he's not made any pit stops as of yet. I think he's leading Ed, and although he's not made a pit stop, Ed's really struggling. He's going to be losing time even though he's on the wet tyres. And here we are, we're riding back on board with Dylan further up the field on lap 5. Here we are, and he's going to go into this double left-hander. Well, he's driving well now. He is on his first set of tyres. He's on these options. When's he going to box? We've only got 11 laps left, coming up to 10 laps left of this race. Coming round this quite high G, quite fast right-hander onto the one of the last turns of the lap. We're nearing the end of the lap now. Is he going to box this lap? What do you think, Dylan?
I think he could put this lap. The tyres don't look like they're in good conditions. I think he should come in for the primes. Oh, as he nearly loses
saying that,
it there.
he has just set. He nearly loses it, but he did
Good
just set a
save.
purple sector, so he's really on the edge there, isn't he? He's already on the raggedy edge there. And he's coming. Will he box? Will he box? Will he box? We'll
No,
see.
he's staying out.
And no, he's still staying out. He's going for a really long stint on these option tyres, which remember, they do degrade really quite quickly. He's going up into Rich Mix. He is pushing hard, and now we're back on board with Ed.
Struggling.
And oh, he's struggling down in P18. He's lost his front wing. He's on the wet tyres, and he's losing time to Dylan by the second at this moment. Hopefully Dylan won't have as shocking as a time on wets. Oh, and he's just understeered wide. Can he keep it out the gravel? Just, he needs to just keep it moving, keep that momentum going. Oh, and he's being swarmed by everyone, even the likes of Carter K, and this
As
is
he nearly hits the
not
back of
going
cover
well
line
for
and
him.
going to the pits.
And he nearly gets cover line going into the pits, and
Goes
of
into
course
the
he's
gravel.
going to go in.
It went
Yeah,
into
goes into the
neutral
gravel.
briefly there as well.
Yeah, he's trying to do everything to slow that car down. He's got horrific tyres and
He's coming
and
to the
damaged
pits. What's he
front
going to
wing,
go
so I
on to?
reckon-
What do you think, Ed? Intermediates or pro?
I think he's going to go with another one-lap stop on
onto
the
inters and a
intermediate.
change of front wing
He's obviously
as he bottled it on the
change of the
first
front
corner.
wing, of course. Now, how's it going to be on these inters, do you think, Dylan?
It should be better than the wets, but obviously not as good as the dry compound prime and options. I think he will be quicker, but not much quicker. You might
Yeah,
lose it
it's gonna
again
be
on the
scorching
first
in the
corner.
heat here, isn't it? Going to be scorching in the
Yeah.
heat here in
They're gonna
in
overheat
Delhi.
very
so
quickly.
these wets, it will really overheat quickly, and obviously Ed's had a better first lap on these inters, probably his only lap, and
Going
it
very
didn't seem
wide.
better. He seems to be he's gone wide, but he seems to be more confident with driving on these incredibly overheaty, low grip tyres.
As the
And I
camera's
think
jolting.
he's in last place. And how far is he behind P23, Dylan? If you look at the time screen, it's about a minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably about a minute to Nico Rosberg after Dylan took him out. So Nico's gone down the water.
So Ed's really struggling
going
here. He's
wide again.
losing buckets of time to Dylan, isn't he? Here, do you think Dylan's going to come out on top? Do you think this is a strategy error from Dylan, or from Ed? Sorry, or do you think Dylan's going to struggle on these tyres just as much?
I think it's a strategy error for Ed, but also he's not doing very well as he is having to let past the faster cars.
Raikkonen, his teammate,
Going
who's
back
racing
onto
now,
Dylan.
back on board with Dylan. Lap
he's coming into
6,
the
Will he
pits.
box again? What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I
he's
think
coming
he
into
is.
the pits. You can see.
Oh, and
his
as he
strategy
loses it on the
indicator
corner,
is-
he's going to hit
Oh,
the
and
wall.
he nearly loses
And he's
it.
lost his front
Oh,
wing.
and he's lost his front wing. Oh, Dylan's lost his front wing. It's all gone wrong. Can Ed catch up? He needs to capitalise on this. Dylan's got more pit stops to make. Ed is on those intermediates, but he's only got one more stop to make. Dylan's got all 3 stops to make. Can Ed capitalise? Can he make up? We do have 9 laps left, remember. Surely Dylan's going to come in now and switch probably
as
to
he
his
goes
wets
very
or to his
deep.
other set of drives. And he's gone very deep, not as deep as Ellen.
I think he
as,
might go
Ed
onto the
does.
wets
What do you
like
think?
Ed.
I think he's going to try and get that out of the way to his fast
Yeah,
end
he
of the
should
race.
be.
And the pit lane's very clogged, isn't it?
It is, a lot of people are pitting. I know he goes onto another set of dry tyres, but onto
Oh,
the
and
primes.
he's gone onto his primes. This is
Is he going to
this
get
is
released? And he's
interesting
being held
strategy
up.
call.
He's being held up. There's
Oh, and he's
so
being
much
held
traffic.
up in the pits. Oh, it's all gone wrong for Dylan here.
10.6
Oh,
second
this
pit
is not
stop.
good. 10 second
Horrific.
pit stop. Horrific. this is an interesting strategy call here. Would you switch to the wets right at the end of the race, a time when you usually want to go as quickly as you can, Dylan?
I'd do it at the start just to try and get it out of the way, just so you can have the pain over and done with. As he's just told his engineer that he's going to the intermediates when he next stops.
This is, yes, Dylan's only got the wets to use, so how long is he going to stay on these primes for? I reckon he's going to try and extend this stint for quite a while, because he does not want to be on those wets for at all long, as was demonstrated by Ed's questionable driving, and we're back on board with him, and he's still struggling down in P24, and he's still getting lapped, and it looks like he's going to box his lap, he's getting off those engines, and he's spun it round, and he's lost his front wing again. It's all gone wrong, hasn't it, Dylan?
Yeah, it's gone completely wrong for the young driver, Ed, as he tries to get it back onto the track without spinning it again, as he does with the Spaniard or Fernando Alonso, I believe, going past him, lapping him. Is he gonna?
Yeah,
well, obviously he's gonna pit onto this lap. I'm guessing onto the prime tyres.
Yeah, you don't want to spend at all long on these wet tyres, do you, Dylan?
No,
you really don't.
Very slow and overheats.
Very slow. And Ed looks like he's really struggling. He doesn't seem to be a driver suited to low grip levels, and he's really struggling, and he's losing time to Dylan here. Although Dylan's got to make those last stops, Dylan will be pulling away from him currently. Ed's only got one more stop. This is going to be his final stop. So after this, he has really got to getting passed by Schumacher and a wave of other cars, a plethora of them. Do you think Ed needs to push now to on his final stint, on his primes, on his drives, back on his familiar territory?
He definitely should.
Do you think he's going to be able to make that time up to Dylan?
I don't know if he will be able to. It will be close, as long as he doesn't make any more too major mistakes, as he goes very slowly out the gravel trap. I don't know if he will be able to make it. As long as he doesn't make or lose his front wing again, then he should be alright. He's hoping for the safety car now, probably.
Hopefully for his sake, penultimate stop, and the primes are going on, and there's a change of the front wing. Of course, that's step node unique to the 2012 Formula 1 season, and we are still in 24, and we are being lapped by pretty much everyone down here on board with Ed. So this has not gone well, but hopefully he's got to push on these tyres. He's got, for the rest of the race, he's on these tyres. He's got to push. He's got to make that time up for Dylan, who's got to drive on the wets and make 2 extra pit stops. Can he do it? What do you think, Dylan? He gets lapped again there by Vitaly Petrov in P15.
I think as long as Dylan doesn't do as badly as Ed, he might be able to compromise and go faster than Ed. Ed just needs to push hard now, try and set fastest laps probably. And as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, Ed did lose his KERS. He has a KERS failure. We don't know how long that's going to last for. It's going to definitely lose him some time, as he won't have any extra energy to use.
That's right, Dylan, that's interesting. KERS failure is very rare in Formula 1, but Ed's got one, and nothing seems to be going his way. He's not suited to these wet tyres. He really struggled on them. He's lost his front wing twice, and now his KERS has failed, so his the pushing that we've just said he needs to do, that's going to be limited. KERS is very useful in those low gears to give you that push out of corners, and Dylan not pitting. Obviously, he's going to try and extend this stint on the primes for a while, and he's probably going to go for the last 2 laps of the race on these last couple of laps of the race.
We skip ahead a bit.
We skip ahead 1 lap
exactly.
He makes a nice move on Sergio Perez. That's great.
DRS onto Pastor Maldonado, can go down the inside. He might be able to take the car in front, which is not sure. Vettel, he does.
Vettel, oh, and what a dive bomb! I mean, we know these cars are limited. This is the whole point of the challenge for these 2 drivers. But that was an absolutely beautiful move, and he's down the inside of Schumacher again. And what Dylan is doing absolutely wonderful in these conditions against these slightly limited cars. Ed is hopefully pushing as hard as he can, but as we said, it is limited. Dylan still has to make those 2 pit stops. He's defending. He's going very defensive from Schumacher, going right down to the standard mix there. And he's gone quite deep into that corner, but Schumacher, and he's managed to keep the rest behind. Now back on board with Ed, jumping forward to lap 10. He set a green sector, so times are improving for the young Briton. And he's doing well, obviously, thinks he's much more comfortable. Full downforce, full front wing, and he's much more comfortable on these dry tyres, which are suited to the conditions and to his driving style. Coming towards the end of the lap now, he's still in P24, a long way off Karthikeyan in P23, I think almost a lap. So this is not going well for him.
Dylan sets the fastest lap of the race with 1:37.1.
As Dylan goes and sets the fastest lap, Ed has just got to keep pushing. Hopefully he can set some of those fastest laps. He's just got to keep pushing, and hopefully he makes up that time for Dylan, who's got those 2 hit stops. And as he said that, he has his braking, staying very jabby into that hairpin. And now we're coming onto the final 90-degree left-hander onto the final start-finish straight for, and we're going to start lap 11. Only 5 laps left for Ed, and can he make a difference? And now Dylan riding on board lap 11. It's getting inching ever closer to the time he's going to have to make these pit stops. And no, he doesn't go in again. I think he's going to have to pit next lap. What do you think, Dylan?
I think if he wants to stay on the dries as long as possible, he's going to probably pit on lap 13 onto the intermediates or the wets, and pit on lap 14 again for one last lap onto the dries tyres. I mean the full wet tyres.
Yeah, I think that he's going to have to pit this lap. And Dylan Rama's just set the fastest lap again, and oh, that was a beautiful move on the inside of Webber onto that massive long straight again.
He's trying to put into
Raikkonen up there, MP2.
As Mark Webber comes past him,
and Mark Webber
he's going to get into the slipstream.
Mark Webber's absolutely breezed past Dylan there, but can Dylan size up a dive bomb on Mark Webber? He's getting very close. He's gone down into stand.
Brakes much later, going down the inside, and Kimi Raikkonen.
Gone down the inside of Raikkonen as well. What a move from Dylan, but Raikkonen's done a switch back on him, and he's pushed him.
Hit by
Raikkonen. Round in an almost identical move to the one on the start of the race. What has happened here to Dylan? Could this be a turning point for Ed? Could Ed capitalise on this? Dylan still has to make those 2 pit stops, remember. Here we are riding on board with Ed. Lap 12 now. Only 4 more laps to get the job done, and we are still in P24 with 1 minute to Karthikeyan in P3. He's setting consistent lap times, but they are by no means topping the timing sheets here. Do you think Ed can do this, Dylan?
If Dylan makes a mistake and loses his front wing, then yes, I think he could. And as long as Ed keeps pushing, does qualifying after qualifying laps, then I think he might be able to come and catch Dylan. I don't know who's winning the penalties. I don't know who's got more. No. But I think Ed might be able to come past.
Yeah, I think Dylan might be winning the penalties, or they may be equal. It's either 20-30 or 30-30. So here we are riding on board with Ed. His lap times are good, but as I said, they are not, by no means fast. Here we are with Dylan, lap 13
and Dylan's
now.
coming into the pits, as he's just been told by his engineer.
It's the latest possible opportunity he can do it.
His engineer just told him to box.
His engineer just told him to box, so he's coming in. Intermediates or wets, what do you think, Dylan?
I think he will go onto the wets just to get it over and done with, and finish the race on the inters. But let's see what he does as he goes deep into the pit lane again.
He goes very deep into
None of the drivers have got it right.
None of the drivers today have got it right. He's going down to lean to save fuel. He's obviously not doing well on fuel, but he has got 2 laps. He's just hoping to push towards the end of the race. He's going onto these wet tyres now. Does he have front wing damage?
Intermediates.
No, he doesn't. Intermediates. He's going to finish the race on wets. This is an interesting strategy here from the young Brit, isn't it, Dylan?
Yes, I thought he would have got the wets over and done with, but instead he's decided to go on the intermediates. I guess he wants still some sort of pace and grip.
Yeah.
He puts it into standard.
And
it goes wide instantly.
Wide, just like Ed. Now this is where Ed can really push. Dylan's just come out of the pit lane, so he will have gained time already. So Ed's got to really push, try and gain time, while Dylan is on these inters at the end of the race, and Ed is on the dry tyre.
I believe Dylan is 1 lap ahead of Ed now.
Yeah.
Because he is in P9 still.
Yeah, and Ed is a lap behind.
Just in front of Ricciardo.
At the end. Yeah, Ed will be on lap 13.
To say Hamilton started from P18 is now in P8, so he's gained 10 positions.
Good race.
So he must have had a pretty good race for Hamilton.
Yeah, very good race.
After a shocking qualifying.
Dylan doing pretty well here on the inters. He's doing, he's getting things, as I say that, he goes deep, but he's not doing too badly. Not doing his work as badly as Ed, as he lets Ricciardo pass. And here comes Dylan again at the end.
Jump ahead onto the final
lap. He's going to pit in on
a wing change as well.
A wing change as well. He obviously had some struggling in that meantime that we've cut out in the highlight reel while he was on those intermediates, and now we are on to the wet for Dylan's final lap of the race. Ed will be 1 lap behind on lap 14.
Massa locks up.
Massa
nearly
locks
hitting
up.
the back of Team
and Dylan's gone round. Dylan has hit
just
Massa.
like Ed did, and he has not lost his front wing.
How has Dylan not lost it? Has he got an indestructible car? I think Dylan is really driving the Force India tank here. Everyone's streaming past Dylan, but Ed has really got to capitalise on this right at the end of the second.
That's Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso comes across the line to win the race. Well done to Fernando Alonso, but really it's the battle between our 2 drivers. This is what you wanted to see. I think we can agree they're going to come right towards the back of the field. Here's Ed, lap 14. He's a lap down. He's in P24. I think he's finished in last place, but really we have to commend the man. 14 laps on 3 different tyres, and he's still within striking distance of some cars, although they are a lap ahead.
Himself from Jean Ecran.
And will he be able to beat Dylan? Then remember, they do have those penalties, and Ed comes across the line to take the checkered flag, and he finished. And here we're coming along with Dylan.
He gets the fastest lap as well. So that's it. Dylan won't set the fastest lap on the full wet. So
and Dylan, Ed has that fastest lap. Dylan here racing in P23.
And he drifts and loses it.
drifts and loses it. Is he going to lose so much time that Ed is going to get this P23? Remember, Dylan does also have penalties like Ed. We're coming around the final few corners now. We're going up the hill. We're nearly coming to that final hairpin. It's the final lap for Dylan. Fernando Alonso's taken the checkered flag. What will happen? Will Ed finish ahead of Dylan? Oh, and no, he's gone deep again. This could all add up. This could all add up to the finishing position of these two drivers. Nobody cares about the rest. It's about this battle between two drivers who have had to drive on different tyres. Tyres that have been overheating. Dylan's gone wide again, overheating. They've had no traction. They've done 3 pit stops in 15 laps. Well done to the pit crew as well. And here comes Dylan. He's gone across the... he's going to reverse across the line. He's going to showboat. He's going to showboat. Of course he is. What do you think of that, Dylan? Brilliant race, eh?
It's interesting as he doesn't probably mind not... he's going reverse over the line, as he's not going to lose anything. As you said, Ed, it was a very interesting race.
Yep. And
but Dylan claims the 23rd place.
And they're not very happy, although they've performed well in our opinion. They're really not happy for that. We would like to thank you for watching this broadcast, this highlight reel. It's been enjoyable to commentate on, and for now, this has been a Pit Crew Podcast production for the Pit Crew Podcast TV. I've been Ed.
And I've been Dylan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. It was pretty much a very, very long one. We apologise if you got bored. It's been edited a lot. I mean, thank you very much, Dylan, for editing. How many hours did you spend on that?
3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours of editing. The amount of behind-the-scenes work that's gone into that, all those graphics. I did guess that doing all those driver heads was something I don't want to repeat again, and luckily I've got it saved to my computer, so I won't have to. Thank you just so much for the support, for watching. Honestly, a subscribe or a like would be appreciated. If you liked this, then let us know. If we want to do another one, that's, well, we'll decide whether we want to do that, because it took a while, didn't it, Dylan? It definitely took a lot of efforts, but we enjoyed doing it. I think Dylan enjoyed the editing and all of that. Just thank you. We hope you enjoyed us being fake commentators as well. I think that was just fun, wasn't it, Dylan?
That was very funny. Yes.
It was just fun. But join us next week, next Tuesday, where we'll be back on familiar territory, predicting what we think will happen in the 2021 F1 season. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.
Bye bye.